Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a Darwin Defense magazine holder review. Okay, I've got two different styles of magazine holders here. I've got a more traditional one, okay, and then I got this prototype that Darwin Defense sent me that I've been testing out. Both have pros and cons. We're gonna talk about that. First, let me tell you the company we're talking about. Name of the company is Darwin Defense. I found them on eBay. I bought a couple of different, several holsters for them. I have one for my G17. I have a few for my Glock 26. I've done a couple of reviews on their holsters. I've taught several carry classes, self-defense classes with their holsters. They work great. But today I want to talk about the magazine holders, which is pretty cool because normally there's not as many videos out there in general about with reviews on magazine holders. So today we're gonna go through that. We're gonna talk a couple of pros and cons. Now these are both inside the waistband, right? So basically, this is for my concealed carry classes, where you're carrying the gun inside the waistband concealed, also carrying the magazine holder on the other side inside the waistband concealed. Okay, so first let's talk about the original one that I had bought. And again, this is for the Glock 26. So now it will fit either the 10 round magazine, right, which is flush with the gun. That's the one I'm carrying right now. Okay, so flush 10 round magazine. Okay, usually when I with the magazine holders, I will carry the 12 round magazine. So that's got that little pinky extension over here. So that's the one I would normally be carrying as a backup mag. So with regards to the original one they had, when I first received this, I was carrying this around for about 2 days, and I just decided the magazine was just too fat. Between the Glock 26 being a fairly wide gun, it's compact but still wide, and having this on the other side over here, there was just too much stuff going on. I would sit in the car, and it was just too uncomfortable. So I ended up, after 2 days, not carrying this. I mentioned that in my video review of the holster, and then what Darwin Defense did is they created a prototype to make it a little bit thinner, which I think is awesome. It's really great that they did that. They sent it to me to try this out. So first, let's look at the original one, and let's consider the thickness, right? So let's get this out for a minute. So when you consider the thickness, loosen this up a little bit. So let's get a measure of the thickness. I'm going to lock this in place. So I got 1.560. Okay, 1.5. Let's see if I get a little tighter. Yeah, 1.560. Right. Comparing that to the prototype, right, which has this little clip on the side, right? You can see how that is significantly. No matter how you measure this, the prototype is thinner, which is really, really important to me. That's a significant improvement. You see how much? So let's actually get a measure on this. So I'm trying to measure this at kind of its widest point. So 1.1, because it doesn't go all the way across. So on that side it's like 1.10, but then if you go from the other side, it goes 1.1, 1.160. It's really hard to kind of, let's see if from there I can kind of go, okay, that's kind of like the widest possible way to reach this, like that. So now I'm at 1.495, okay? So no matter how you measure it, this prototype is clearly thinner than the original one, right? It's a thinner mat, it's thinner, more comfortable to carry. The other thing that's really good about it is that it's reversible, because on the original one, okay, the way it goes in, see, the magazine only goes in one way, right? So if the clip is on this side here, bullets go forward and it goes in. If you try to reverse this, it doesn't go in. If you really force it hard, it's going to get stuck in there. So it has to, bullets are, if you're carrying this on your left side, right? Guns on your right side, magazine holders on the left side, bullets are forward. That's the only way you can do it. If you're a lefty shooter and the gun's on your left side and you're carrying the magazine holder on your right side, now your bullets are backwards, right? They're pointing back. So what that means is, because me, I shoot both lefty and righty. I shoot with both hands. So normally I want my bullets pointing forward. So when I come out, right? So if it's here, I come out and I go in like that. But if I'm shooting lefty, I got the gun on my left side. Now I have this on my right side. Now my bullets are pointing backwards, so I have to change the method in which I load the magazine into the gun. Okay, so I didn't think it was like the end of the world, you know. I didn't think, but it, you know, you did have to change the way that you do things. So I did mention that in the video. What happened was Darwin Defense saw the video and they said, hey, let's try to improve upon that, and they did. They came up with this other design here, which not only made the magazine holder thinner, but also made it reversible. So this clip over here unscrews from this side, goes to the other side over here, and basically this is now reversible. You can have your bullets pointed forward regardless of whether the clip's on the left side or the right side, right? So both, you know, and some people might want their bullets pointed backwards because of the way they load. But whatever you want, whether you want your bullets pointed forward or pointed backwards in the magazine holder, you can have that on your left side or your right side, okay? Because that magazine, because the clip is reversible. You can unscrew this and put it on this side over here. The other thing that's cool is that there's 3 tension points over here, right? You see the little rubber in between over there, right? Basically, you basically tighten this up to get this to the tension that you want. These ETS magazines are a little bit thinner, so yeah, you can see how these are. So with this, I would have to tighten these up a little bit more compared to these Pro Mags, which, you know, just a tiny bit wider, right? So yeah, so with the ETS ones, I would tighten this up just a little bit more. Other nice thing about this is that it, you know, basically the Glock 26 takes the Glock 17 magazine, right? Over here I got a Glock 26. Takes standard 17-round magazines. Obviously that looks goofy in the gun, but this is very practical in the sense that you can carry the gun with a flush 10-round magazine, the way I have this one here, right? The G26, Polymer 80 G26. But what I can do is I can plant these 17-round magazines all over the place. I can have like one of these in my car, one of these in my office, one of these in my shop, you know, so you can plant the 17-round magazine. So nice thing about these holsters is that they will take the 17-round magazines as well. Obviously, it sticks up a little bit more. So that's great. That's another great feature. Just the great thing about the Glock 17, 19, 26 is that they share magazines. They share a lot of internal parts. So it works really great like that. So let's talk about the usability of this. Now, one of the things I want to mention with this prototype is that the clip is thinner, right? You can see how that's a little bit thinner compared to the original design, and this is more standard on what you will usually see on magazine holders. So this is a little bit thicker, a little wider, so this has less chance of a breaking. This one, again, plastic clip, that has a better chance of breaking, especially if you're somebody that's always taking them on, putting them off. In my case, if I'm teaching people and, you know, I'm passing this around for people to try out and use for my classes, there's a pretty high chance that this thinner clip is going to break. So the next time I'm ordering these magazine holders, I'm going to request to purchase extra clips. Just get 10 extra clips, you know, so I can use them. You probably don't need 10. You probably just want 1 or 2 extra ones. So here's the thing. One of the things that I have found from testing this out, because of the way that the clip is off to the side, right, it does want to roll a little bit. And what happens is when you put it in, right, and it rolls down, what happens is your clothes or your pants are going to come over the top, and sometimes it can be difficult. Once this rolls down a little bit in your belt, it can be difficult to get the magazine in. So not so much of a difficulty in getting the magazine out, but if you want to put the magazine back in, if it rolls down a little bit and your clothes get stuck in there, your pants kind of come over the top, it can make it a little bit more difficult to put in. So let me put this on my belt. I'm going to clip this on. in there now. All right, so let's say I want to do magazine change. I'm out. By the way, this is a 360-degree range, so I can point the gun safely in any direction. All right, so comes out, goes in. All right, so basically I've got here, this is the 12. I carry it with the flush 10 rounds. My backup is a 12-round magazine. It's got the little pinky extension. Now let's say I want to put this back in. You know, and this is something I would basically be doing for my classes, right? So in the class, it's going in and out, in and out. All right, so it goes in. Let's get it out. In. Let me put this gun away since it's loaded. I don't want to. So there's no reason to just keep holding the gun there. So let's practice the in and out. In. Out. In. Out. Okay, I'm starting to have a little bit more difficulty now because as I'm going in and out, it's starting to rotate down a little bit, which is naturally going to happen. And right now I have my belt really pretty tight. If you loosen it up a little bit, the other thing that you'll notice is if you loosen it up a little bit, it's going to want to rotate down a little bit more. The other thing is you got to be careful. Bullets go forward. If you put it in backwards, you're going to have issues. It's going to kind of get stuck in the magazine, in the holder. So you got to make sure that you're putting it in the right direction. So now that I loosen my belt up a little bit, I'm immediately having problems with my pants and stuff getting stuck in there. Can't quite get it in as comfortable. Yeah, now it's rotated down and my pants have come over the top. So now I gotta actually stick my finger in there to kind of guide it in there because it's rolling down as I'm going in and out. So it's getting progressively harder and harder. Let's go back to the original one. See, another reason why you want to get extra clips is because typically with the gun holsters, right? If I want to take the holster off my belt, I'll usually I have to undo my belt, and then I'll remove the gun with the holster together. With the magazine holders, we usually don't undo our belt all the way. I don't. Most of the people that I see trained don't. So usually when people they just kind of stretch the clip up and over. So again, that increases the chance of the clip breaking. Let's put this one on there. This is now the original one, right? Right. So this one, because of its design, this is not going to have that rolling issue. It's because basically it's centered down the magazine. So let's get that in there. All right. So again, bullets forward, so we don't confuse things. All right. So that goes in. Now this is now with my belt in the same tension, which is fairly loose. So I'm not having an issue with this rolling, okay? Goes that away. Make it a little bit tighter like I had it originally on the other one. So yeah, the in and out is definitely easier with this because it's less prone to rolling. Where are you? I can find it. So this is obviously the practical. Oh, missed it completely. This is the practicality of using magazine. There it is. Magazine holders. All right, there's not choreographed. When I teach a class, this is what people actually have to do. The thing rotates a little bit. They have to kind of work through this. In, out, in. Okay. So I think we've done this enough. So. As I said, with this design here, although it's thinner, okay, the issue with this design is because of the way it hangs on the belt. As you're going in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, this is going to want to dip down, and eventually your pants is going to come over the top over here. And then when you try to put the magazine back in, it's now you got your pants stuck in there, and you're going to have a little bit more difficulty getting it in. Whereas with this one, because this hangs centered, you don't have that rotational issue. So this just goes in and out, in and out, in and out, without it rotating, like that. So for my classes, it's more practical for me to use these magazines because they don't rotate. All right, so I don't need to make it any harder for people than it already is. So this one doesn't rotate, so I will probably be using these original ones that don't rotate so much. However, like I said, for practical everyday carry, this was a little bit too wide. All right, you can see this extra space right here. You know, that's just unnecessary thickness right there. You know, obviously you need some place to put the screws. Whereas this one over here, you know, this design is a thinner design. I'm much more likely to want to carry this compared, you know, this prototype compared to this one over here. So this one, the original one, is what I would want to use for my classes, for training people. The prototype is what I would want to carry every day. You know, if I'm going to carry an extra magazine. It's still kind of thick. I mean, it's as thin as I think it can possibly be. The problem with G26 magazines is that the magazine itself is thick, so you can only go so thin over here because, you know, you gotta have a clip. You know, you gotta have some thickness here. So if you're on the ground rolling over on an empty magazine, it doesn't get crushed. So you gotta have a little bit of strength. So I think this is as thin as you can possibly go. You know, so it's a good design. With the one exception that because of the way it's hanging, it's going to want to rotate, and you just got to be aware of it. However, if you're only coming out of the magazine holder, right? Because when I do my classes, I'm in and out, in and out, in and out. But for everyday carry, you're not in and out of your magazine holder. It's just going to stay in there. And then if it ever comes out, it's only going to come out once and go into the gun. And you're probably not going to, you know, realistically speaking, let me put this back on here. So realistically speaking, right, again, 360-degree range, I can point a gun at it. You come out, bang, 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 bang. Let's say you got to do a magazine change, right? You go here, you grab your mag, you put it in, okay? You know, you run your slide to close the gun, and that's it. You don't have to worry about getting this magazine back in your magazine holder, right? It's probably, if anything, you're going to put it, if you don't drop it in the ground, if anything, you'll put it into your pocket. You're not going to go back into the magazine holder. So the issue that I'm bringing up here with the rotational, that's more of a training thing where, you know, practically speaking, you're on the range, you know, you're going to practice going in and out of the magazine holder, and that rotational issue is, you know, is going to slow down the training a little bit, but hey, something you got to work through. So I hope you guys found this this review on the magazine holders interesting. I'm going to put a link below to the review I did on the Darwin Defense holsters, because I think that this is a really great holster. I've used this already for a couple of my classes. Works great with the Glock 26, and this is the Polymer 80 Glock 26. I use this because I got a red dot on it. Works great with the red dot. It's compact. It's small. You know, you can use, you know, 17 round magazines, so it's a really practical gun like that. I like the fact that Darwin gives you different color options, because women get really excited when they see bright colors. You know, red holster, blue gun, you know, it makes them want to shoot more, makes them want to buy more guns. So, you know, it helps bring them into our gun community. So I really like the colors. Now, for carry purposes, yeah, I carry black gun, black holster, just because it shows less, you know, less eye-catching. But for my classes, yeah, I love having bright, different colored guns and holsters. Like I said, I'll put a link below to the holster review I did for Darwin Defense. All right, here's their contact information in case you want to contact them or check out their products. All right, if you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. Talk to you guys soon.